Welcome to Garden Plants with Jim Putnam. Let's talk Yewtopia Plum Yew. This is Cephalotaxis Harringtonia Yewtopia. This is a Southern Living Plant Collection plant. This is a beautiful conifer with a really compact habit, slow growing. It'll reach about 3 to 4 feet by 3 to 4 feet. Has kind of a bird's nest kind of growth habit to me, where it's slightly spreading, but they come up as they spread. And ultimately, like I say, it'll be about 3 to 4 feet by 3 to 4 feet. Slow growing and super low maintenance. Yewtopia Plum Yew is hardy in zones 6 to 10. These are best in part shade to shade. We have these 5 planted on a slope right here, which is a really great use for them. These are great as low hedges, something that you need to get 3 to 4 feet in height. We have one in a container at the house that's been in a container for, close to 2 years at this point. So great container use. Again, good in mass planting, good as an individual, just really dark, rich green plant in the landscape. We've got this little retaining wall back here that's about 3 feet. That's about the height these are going to get to. Again, good with erosion control. So we're not really growing these as a flowering plant like a lot of our ornamental shrubs. We're growing it as kind of the backdrop to some of those flowering things. Yewtopia Plum Yew is going to be tolerant of a lot of different soil types. I'm not really worried about that as long as it's kind of a moist, well-drained space. And so not a space that's going to stay wet. Again, it's kind of perfect on this slope right here. I will say though that with conifers, you have to be careful on the watering. They won't let you know when they're dry. They just kind of they'll get some interior thinning and really start to show damage, where a lot of our leafy evergreens will wilt in the afternoon and kind of tell us, hey, please bring me some water. Conifers aren't great at that. So this is a plant that when it's during, I consider it pretty drought tolerant once you get it established, once you've watered it, and checked on it for that first year. But in abnormal dry conditions, this is one of the first plants I'm going to go check on. Not necessarily because it needs more, but just because I don't want it to go through that stress and any kind of thinning. So let's talk maintenance on Cephalotaxis. There's almost none. You can fertilize these in the late winter, early spring. If you want to fertilize them, they really don't require much once they're established. I keep the area around these is well mulched, and they're weeded for the most part. There's a couple things coming up here or there that needs to be pulled, but for the most part, we're keeping the weeds away from them, keeping it mulched, keeping the watering when they need to be watered, and that's kind of it. Pruning requirements, these things are all growing pretty much equally without doing any pruning on them. You might get a crazy limb that comes way out. That can be cut off any time of year. Any general pruning you do on them, I'd probably do that in the late winter. These are considered very deer resistant, and most environmental issues with pests, with diseases, with insects, and again, deer and rabbit resistant. So this is one of those great plants, great ornamental plants in the shade or part shade to give you this rich dark green color and a great texture up against other larger leafy evergreens or something that chartreuse would look absolutely fantastic with these Yewtopia Plum Yews from the Southern Living Plant Collection. Thanks for watching.